Big mistake if we think, oh, thank God, we now have ambassadors for life. That leaves me off the hook. I don't have to do a blessed thing because they're going to do everything. No. Am I correct? You are meant publicly to be an example, to be a model of what it means to stand up for life. St. John Paul II, when he came to the United States in the late 1980s, he's still remembered for saying this in Washington, D.C. Join me. Stand up for life. Now, to stand up for life, you need to have a few things. You need to have a passion. You need to really have a conviction that what you're looking to do is important for life. Secondly, you need to be equipped. You need to be formed. I do too. And equipped means to deepen and purify that initial passion so it's well grounded in Catholic social teaching. That you don't kind of twist it to become just your own message, but rather it's the message of Jesus, pure and simple. Those words are well chosen. Pure and simple. Thirdly, you need to have a small ego. Proud people cannot very easily promote the gospel of life, but humble people can. The great Dominican priest, Father Servais Pincars, he died, I think, in 2006. He wrote a number of books. He was actually, believe it or not, known to be the primary helper for the document Splendor of Truth that our Holy Father, St. John Paul II, did. He wrote a book called The Spirituality of Martyrdoms Onto the Limits of Love. I read it just a few months ago. And in it, he said something very interesting. He said, the early martyrs were not so much brave people as humble witnesses. See, because a brave person has a lot of ego. I want to be recognized for all the good I'm doing. It's hard to have a sentence with the word I not showing up 6 or 7 times. But a martyr for Christ simply says, I want to be a humble witness for Christ. Pope Francis, when he started his pontificate, said, I am a sinner. And Pope Benedict XVI, when he began as Pope, said, I am a humble worker in the vineyard of the Lord. Humility. And then the fourth thing, and very importantly, the capacity to clap when someone else is successful. There's a story told, I'm told it's true, of a parent, mother and father, who had a child who was in 2nd grade. She had special needs, but she was going to the local Catholic school. They always worried whether she would fit in, whether she'd be teased, and how everything would go. So they were kind of a little more anxious than I guess the average parent is to make sure things are going well. So that night at dinner, their little daughter announced that she was going to try out for the nativity play. It was right before Christmas. Oh, they thought, my gosh, she's not going to be able to remember her part. She's not going to be able, she's going to make a fool of herself. We're just going to, our hearts are going to be broken because we're going to be so embarrassed for her in front of the public. But she insisted that she was going to try out. So they picked her up at school that Friday afternoon, wondering how disappointed she was going to be. And of course, she came running and hopping to the car, happy as can be. And she said, Mom and Dad, guess what? I got a part to play in the nativity thing. I said, really? Yeah. She says, I get to sit in the front row and clap for my classmates. And the mother and father were relieved. And that night, before they went to bed, they said to one another, our daughter probably learned one of the most valuable lessons in life. The capacity to clap when someone else is successful. The great spiritual writer C.S. Lewis was fond of saying that in heaven, just as on earth we get so filled with exhilaration when we succeed, when we make the team or get an A, but he said in heaven, we will feel that same joy when that happens to someone else. You see, everyone has the obligation to be at service of life. But together, we all sense our duty to preach the gospel of life. Thank you.